the 27th, 6:01 a.m. Bright and early. Let's see what's going today. What's going on today? Well, we're just going to give everybody a minute to get woke up and get their coffee in place if you're like me. Need that extra few minutes on Monday. So let's jump in, go live here for everybody. Just see, there you go. Morning, everybody. Hey, if you're new here, jump in. Let me know where you're from. And I guess right off the bat, man, is it hot in Texas? Last 2 days, we went from having rain, which we needed, to now it's they're saying it's going to feel like it's 103 today. The actual temp, I think, is supposed to be 91, 92, somewhere in that range. But throw in that humidity. Hey, Firehouse Feast, thanks for jumping in early this morning. And they said it's supposed to feel like it could feel as hot as 103 here today. This is one thing in the summertime, it's if you hadn't had a lot of rain, then it's not as humid. It's really more just the heat. But we've had last week or the last couple of weeks, we've had about just a little over 4 inches of rain. So the ground's saturated, which is good. We needed that because we hadn't had that much rain since July of 2025. So, you take it when you can get it. Hey, Gene, good morning. Thanks for jumping in here this morning on Monday. So anyway, with all the rain and now the heat, looks like, Texas doesn't really go from fall. We don't really have a fall. We don't go from winter to summer or to spring. A lot of times it just jumps right straight into summer. And this year is one of those years where it's done that. So when it does that, we have these really super humid days. I think this morning at 4:30, it was already like 75, 76 degrees. Hey, Rocky, man, what's up? You bought a new bike. We need some of that warm weather out east. Hey, Lorenz. Hey, thanks for joining. Daniel joined. R Racing jumped in here. Thanks for jumping in this morning. Hey, David. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. For me, it's like Monday morning. It's probably one of the toughest mornings for me to get up and get going. I don't know why. You try to spend a little downtime on the weekends, but inevitably, this past weekend I had a close friend who turned 70, and he had a big 70 birthday bash out at his ranch, and had a live band playing. I mean, they went all out. It was fun times for everybody. We had like barbecue. They had ribs and sausage and brisket, and I mean the whole works. The live band playing. There were probably I wasn't going to say about, because some people came, stayed a little while and left. But I would say there was a good 65, 70 people there through the whole night. And it started like at 6. And, kind of pretty much people were leaving about 11 because he does live out. When I say ranch, I mean he lives out in the middle of nowhere. He's not close to anything. And for us, it was just a little over an hour drive each way. But you don't turn 70 but once, and last year, unfortunately, his wife passed away, and so turning 70 for him was a real big deal, and a big deal for us too. We've been friends for since we were in our teens. But he had all his friends and family there, and it was a good time had by everybody. Good morning. What? If you're on TikTok, do you still see my live? It just died there. Rosala, good morning. How you doing? Robin jumped in. Hey. See, yeah. Hey guys, over here on TikTok, I have no idea why all of a sudden the live stopped for a minute and then jumped back on. Hey, Chris, good morning. CP Dirtbag, sorry for his life. Yeah. Unfortunately, she had a blood cancer, and she fought it for like 14 years, but he did lose her last year. So this was his first birthday without his wife and turning 70. But he was in good spirits, and like I said, all his friends and family were there. The barbecue was good. The music was good. It was fun times. And I think he was telling me his name is Chester. And anyway, he was telling me that he wants to go on a vacation. He's going to buy himself a new pickup and travel and go. He wants to go to Wyoming, Montana, and up in that area. And so he may be going on a road trip. So who knows? But if that's what he wants to do, that was kind of on his bucket list. I think he should definitely do that. Thank you. Reflect Auto Care. Hey man, thanks for jumping in here. Do you have a auto mechanic shop there, Reflect? Thanks for that. I appreciate that. Donna Kavanaugh jumped in too. Hey, Donna. Oh, it's a detailing shop. All right. Okay. Man, that's some hard work doing detailing. Do you do it just for individuals, or do you work with some car dealerships on stuff like that? Dina Hunter. Hey, nice to meet you. Thanks for jumping in here bright and early on Monday. Like I said, Mondays for me sometimes can be one of the days that's hard to get organized. I keep saying I'm going to do this every weekend. It's like Friday ends, and I try to wrap up being online and doing videos because I know. Hey, Kim, good morning. How are you doing? If you're on 24/7, you can burn out pretty quick. So you need to have some downtime and away from being online all the time. So, and I spend quite a few hours on a daily basis. So I try to limit it on the weekend and not, be out there posting a ton. Hey, Lord Scone, how's it going? I'm good. I do it part-time. DOD full-time. Okay. Wow. When you say DOD full-time, it's like you're talking about Department of Defense. You work for them? Hook 'em. Dave Step. Yeah, back at you, brother. Or DOW, I guess now. Robin says on YouTube that since she retired, every day is the weekend. You do lose track sometimes what day it is, especially if you're really busy. Surprisingly, you can retire and you know, if you're like a lot of us, we don't necessarily retire to the couch. We kind of retire to things that, you know, you put off, and you don't even realize how much stuff you put off because you work 40, 50, 60 hours a week and do that. You work for the Navy, civilian side. Okay. Washington, really? Are you in Bremerton, Washington? I know they have a big Navy base there. My nephew was stationed there in Bremerton. Yes, sir. How about that? Small world, beautiful part of the country. If you've never been to the Pacific Northwest, just north of Seattle, up on the Puget Sound, Bremerton's a town there, and been there a long time. Big naval base there, but just that whole area up there, it's really beautiful. I know a lot of people said it rains a ton, but you know, I guess I was fortunate the 2 or 3 times I went to that part of the country to visit, and I usually stayed a week or so, and you know, we did get a little bit of rain, but for the most part, the weather was gorgeous. We always had a good time. CP, I have a field trip. Where are you going, CP? I'm guessing maybe a dirt bike field trip, or what? Yeah, you do have to get used to it. The one thing that I noticed that kind of affected me more than anything was it didn't, certain times of year, it doesn't get dark till, you know, 10 o'clock. And, you know, and then it was bright and early, you know, by 4 a.m. it's daylight outside. And I think that was in March when I was there before. I can't remember the exact months, but we went 2 or 3 times. We flew in the SeaTac there, and then got our niece would pick us up, and we'd go on into Bremerton. And but yeah, I guess Reflect Auto. You ever ate at, what is that? I'm trying to think of the restaurant we ate at. Was it called the Oak Table? And it's not in Bremerton, but it's in one of the towns close by. But anyway, real nice restaurant. Had delicious waffles. Man, they made some big old waffles. Their breakfast was outstanding. Every area has something to get used to. The Panhandle, the Plains, is the constant wind. Yeah, that's right, Chris. You know, you ever go to West Texas, up in the Panhandle, the wind, I don't think the wind ever stops blowing completely. There's always a breeze. Yeah, it's Silverdale. There you go. And they do have really good fresh squeezed OJ. It is delicious. So if you're ever in that part of the country, a little plug there for the Oak Table in Silverdale. It's just, I'd say it's west of Bremerton. But yeah, I mean, it's great. It's a nice little town there in Bremerton. All the houses, though, they're kind of landlocked there. A lot of those houses were built in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, and so yeah. But that naval base, just that Puget Sound in general up there, it's really pretty. Rode the ferry over from a lot of people ferry from Bremerton to Seattle to work and back, and so yeah, it's kind of a different feel from being from Texas to there. There were a lot of things that I got to see and experience, and so that was great. We have a couple more days left on a current auction, and I'm probably driving to going over to East Texas, Tyler, to pick up my newer bike. Okay. I'm a sneaky GG. Did you not go vertical? I can't find you. No, I'm vertical. I'm sorry. I'm a GG. You can always look at, just do the @ Dave Shop, and it should come up too. I don't know why you couldn't find on vertical this morning. All the way from Ohio to Tyler, Texas. That's going to be a pretty good pull. Are you going to fly to maybe Dallas and drive to Tyler, or are you going to drive the whole way, Rocky? Yeah. So, there are a handful of days where this part of Texas, I mean, there's a lot to see in Texas. There's no doubt about that. And it's a big state, so you can spend, you actually, if you're looking to come to Texas for the first time, you kind of got to experience a lot of different places because it changes. West Texas has its own little vibe, and there's a lot of beautiful country to see and things to do in West Texas. And then, East Texas the same way. And then, of course, North Texas around the Dallas, Fort Worth area. And then you come to Central and South Texas. And then, of course, even along the Texas coast. So there's lots of places to travel once you get here. But it's hot most of the time. I'd say that we have to run central air probably pretty consistently, not at least 9 months out of the year, sometimes 10, just depending on whether we have much of a winter or not. Maya, he's pulling the National Lampoon Christmas Vacation driving his station wagon. Great movie. I like that movie. Turned into a little tan boy. What are That's funny. Oh, Northeast Texas, going up towards the Arkansas-Texas border. It's there's some really pretty country there. A lot of kind of, I would say that's kind of like rolling hills. But it's, once you get outside and you're moving east out of away from the Dallas Fort Worth area, it's really nice out that way. I'm doing good, Maya. Thank you. Trump loves you. Speaking of Trump, oh man, hang on. Let me pull up my notes here. That's one of the things I was going to talk about is I'm the world's worst. On Friday, I'm like trying to wrap stuff up because, inevitably my wife has stuff that she needs me to go do or wants to go do. And so, trying to prepare for Monday and, what are we going to discuss on Monday? Of course, we've done Monday motivation, trying to see what people need to do or what they do to get themselves motivated for Monday morning. Me, it's just being thankful I've opened my eyes and kind of got going again. But over the weekend, you all know that I don't want to say that there was an attempt on Trump's life again, but because they said the guy was actually after some of the cabinet members is what I'm hearing. I like Hispanic folks too much. Yeah, I tell you, live in this part of the country. If you don't like Mexican food, you probably won't like, because there's lots of it and good Mexican food. And people don't even realize that Mexican food changes the further south you go. You have a tendency to get more traditional Hispanic food. And then when you move a little further north, I'd say San Antonio and Austin, that central Texas area, there's a lot of Tex-Mex, but there's still a lot of traditional too. So, and the Tex-Mex, I guess the easiest way for me to describe that is traditional Mexican food is not necessarily what most people think of, enchiladas, tamales, fajita, that type of stuff. They do have it, but it's usually not as spicy as Tex-Mex. Tex-Mex leans to be a little hotter, spicier food. And the barbecue here, of course, I've only eaten barbecue. Where Reflect Auto Care is in the Pacific Northwest, I've never eaten barbecue in that part of the country. I'm not even sure they probably have some, but that's not really their thing in that part of the country. But in Texas, the barbecue's phenomenal. I have eaten barbecue in Georgia, but they lean more towards pork, and not that you can't get beef, but not as much as here. Predominantly what you see here if you go to the barbecue is a brisket, ribs, sausage. Of course, you'll get some chicken. And what I really like, a lot of people miss out on, is turkey. Turkey, like a turkey sliced barbecue smoked turkey breast. Woo! If you're trying to eat a little more healthy, if you just want to get right into it, just get you some of the brisket, ribs, and sausage, and you'll be good to go. Morning, Ed. How you doing this morning? Thanks for jumping in here on Monday. Bible with Anthony. Jesus is King. Thank you. Thanks, Anthony. I agree. David, 1737. Back at you, brother. Good morning. We have Smoke Place here. Okay. The first pink smoke burger. Barbecue bologna. Barbecue bologna. So I don't know about anyone else. Answer me this, because my wife thinks that, and the rest of my family think I'm nuts, but who likes fried bologna? Anybody like fried beef bologna? Have you ever eat a fried bologna sandwich? Hey, Casey. Do you? Yeah, if I eat any ground meat, I always make sure it's done. I don't like my hamburgers to have pink in them. Too easy to get sick from that. I know people that eat them that way, but I'm not one of them. I cook my burgers done all the way through. Good morning. Hey, Casey, where you at? Casey, our cross country truck driver, is joined over here on TikTok. Good morning, everybody. Everybody say hey to Casey. I don't know where you at, Casey. Don't know if he's home or if he's out on the road. Wisconsin fishing. I go to the hospital today. Oh, Wisconsin fishing. Is it your first time to have a colonoscopy? It's not a big deal. I can make some real jokes about that, but I'm not going to, because they're not really appropriate. But those are you'll be. No, I ain't gonna say that either. Casey's down in Brownsville. How about that? Well, I'll tell you this, Wisconsin fishing, if you've never had a colonoscopy, it's not, the prep is way worse than the actual procedure. You won't know or remember anything. And they save people's lives. And they found, more and more people should have those done. Especially if you're at our age and you've never had one, you probably should get one, because it can save your life. What's round on the outsides and high in the middle? So Carl Schultz asked, what's round on the outside and high in the middle? I have no idea. Of course, Wisconsin, unfortunately, there's always people gotta, throw in the jokes about having a colonoscopy, but they're definitely something that everybody, Ohio. That's a good one, Carl. I like that one. What's round on, that's too funny. Round on the outsides and high in the middle. That's good. That's a good one. Ohio. That's what Chris said, Ohio. I hadn't heard that one. Uh, Casey, are you loading or unloading in Brownsville? You know, Brownsville's pretty down there, real close to the Texas Mexico border. Been to Brownsville a few times. Del Rio, used to go hog hunting in Del Rio. If you've never experienced a hog hunt, it's fun. In South Texas, a lot of times, because there's such a nuisance down there, ranchers will actually allow you to hunt their property because those wild hogs, they do so much damage to crops, and if you've ever seen the kind of damage they can do, and they do it pretty quick, they'll tear up a field. I've seen cases where a wild pack will pop up its ugly little head in the Austin area, and especially west of here, where some of the big money lives, and they'll destroy someone's lawn and property overnight. Literally, I mean, they'll just root and tear everything up, leave a big mess. And so, yeah, in Texas, hog hunting, you can't go any further south Texas than Brownsville. That's true. It's right there on the Texas Mexico border. Waiting to unload. Okay. Are you going home after that? Are you going home from Brownsville, Casey, after you unload for a couple of days? Really so like here they do too. Because most of those wild hogs are, they can't, if they're young, you can, they can be eaten. If they're big, full grown, most of the time they don't. But you can cut the tails off of them, and the state will pay you, I don't know. It's nothing you're going to get independently wealthy doing, because they're pretty smart, and they're mean. Lord of mercy, they're mean. So yeah, but down South Texas, a lot of times they'll track them with helicopters because there's so many of them down there, and those ranchers will let you come in down there and hunt their property for free if you're hog hunting. So, and there's some people that really like that. I mean, I've been on a couple of them, and they were all right. But some people do it all the time, because there is a bounty on them, and they just, man, you think that you've killed a bunch of them, but man, they breed like rabbits. I'm going to be home for 6 days. All right. Well, I know Leah's ready for you to be home, and you're probably ready to be home. 6 days, that's probably one of the longer stretches that you've been home for a while. Guys, I tell you, that's a tough job to be out on the road, sleeping in a truck, even though they have sleepers and as much comfort as you probably could have. Just being out there traveling on the road across the country for 30 days at a time, makes for a long time being away from home, and then only being back at home for a handful of days, and then back to it. So thank you, Casey, for what you do. We do appreciate you. yeah, and like when you work, if you ever had a job where you're gone from home and you come back, inevitably nothing breaks before you leave, unless it's right before you leave, or it waits about 24 hours after you've left town and you can't do anything. Then something breaks, so that usually when you get home, you have to spend some of that time fixing something that breaks. And inevitably, when I traveled And I did for probably, I don't know, 12 years or so. I would leave a lot of times on Sunday evenings and not come back home till Fridays, traveling. And I just traveled Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico, and Louisiana when I was in the coffee business, and and then occasional trips to Atlanta, up around Norcross, Georgia, and so, like I said, inevitably, if I'd get on an airplane, and by the time I landed somewhere or I was driving somewhere, something would break. You know, the water heater would go out, the air conditioner, you name it. If it was going to break, it always broke when I was out of town, and you know, my wife always dealt with it, or we did together over the phone, but really her. So when I didn't have to be on the road traveling like that, I definitely took advantage of it and stopped doing it, because it's tough, especially if you're married and you got young kids, and it leaves one parent to kind of hold the fort down and take care of the kids and make sure everything's running. I remember I'd come home on Friday sometime, and you know, the family would be ready to go. They want to go out to eat, and the last thing I wanted to do was go anywhere to eat. So yeah, that was always fun. Anyway, you know, what we were talking about was the assassination, what happened to President while he was and his cabinet while they were doing the White House Correspondents' Dinner this weekend. And man, I don't know if y'all saw it on the news, where the guy's name that attempted it, his name is Cole Tomas Allen. He's 31 from California, but you know, he was actually a guest in the hotel there, and you know, he had a shotgun, a handgun, and they said several knives. But I mean, I don't know if he's realized how lucky he is, because he did shoot a federal peace officer. Luckily, the guy had his vest on, and he's okay, and it didn't kill him. But you know, he's been charged with assaulting peace officer, carrying a firearm. I mean, several charges against him, and he's in custody. But he's lucky they didn't kill him, because when, you know, most of them are trained to return fire, and you know, they didn't get the details of, you know, when he shot at them, just that he ran through and they chased him, and apparently somewhere in that chase, the guy must have turned around and shot at him before they got him tackled down and arrested. But you know, it just goes to show you that Secret Service is constantly having to revamp, and I can remember my father telling me, because he didn't work for the Secret Service, he worked for alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. It was called two or three things through his career, but ATF was the last official name of that department. And a lot of times they would work with Secret Service on details when the president came to town, or you know, different things throughout his career. And he would tell me stories about how they prepare weeks in advance, months in advance, for security in some of these big things like this. And you know, now the question's out is should they even be having those type of events in a public location anymore? Would it be easier to protect the president and the cabinet and all those prominent people from shooters like that? I don't know. What do y'all think? Graduated from college last year. Robin says a teacher, 31, graduate. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you're talking about yeah, I mean, I always, I can't imagine what makes people do that, you know, other than probably some mental issues, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. You have to be pretty. That would doing what that guy did is definitely something uh, that I would definitely say he had some kind of. Yeah, that's for sure, Ed. Thanks, Casey, for you just have to have some kind of mental issue to want to do that, because really I kind of consider that a death wish, because I mean I was really surprised that all they did was tackle the guy and arrested him, and that that somebody didn't shoot and kill him, because that could have easily happened, and I guess with circumstances could have been justified, but they didn't. They got him under arrest and in custody, and nobody got hurt other than, of course, the Secret Service guy was shot, but thank God he had a vest on, and they did take him to the hospital, but he's going to be okay. And I don't know. In this day and time, I'll tell you, being the president or even in public office, it's I wouldn't volunteer for that job right now, for sure. There's a lot of people out there that want to do bad things. Jacob Harris joined. Hey, Jacob, how's it going? Hey, everybody, if there's anybody new here that hadn't hit the subscribe, like, share, follow button, do that for us. We're headed that way. TikTok, we're pushing 7,200. We've had TikToks. Y'all are doing an outstanding job sharing. I appreciate that. And YouTube has continued to grow and share too. So if you know anybody that hasn't joined us for a morning coffee talk, we'll definitely put it out there for them, and appreciate all the likes, shares, and follows. Don't forget, I do put out a question of the day video and sometimes some product videos too. If you see those out there, give those a quick view if it's something that you're interested in. Jacob Harris, marriage advice. I always like these marriage advice. So he's either pulling my leg or he's serious. Jacob, marriage advice. Learn to say yes, honey. God, say it with me. Yes, honey. And you're right. No. Jacob, I'm just pulling your leg. I tell you, that's some good advice, Ed. Listen twice as much as you talk. My dad told me that too. He said you have two ears and one mouth for a reason. That means you listen more and talk less. Well, if you ask my opinion, I think being married is a good thing. And especially if you found the person you want to be with. Ed and I have been married a long time. He's been married to his wife a long time. I've been married to my wife a long time. Chris has been married to his wife a long time. A lot of people don't get married like they used to. But I don't know how long Ed and his wife, I want to say 30 years or so. I've been married about this June will be 48. And, every day is not a picnic, but, it's you just got to learn to listen and, put God in the center. That's for sure. Congratulations, Jacob. Got married Saturday. Well, I just always be, like Ed said, listen and be flexible, because things change and people change. And if you think you're going to change somebody, that's the wrong. That's really the wrong method. I see it too many times where marriages end because they're like, well, yeah, they had bad habits, but I'm going to change them. And there's a few things that you don't change. One, your religion you don't change usually. Your thoughts on children and money. I hate to say it, but money's a big thing. So, share, be together, and if you can get past are you going to raise your kids in the church, whatever church you decide? Who's going to manage the money? You're going to manage the money together, so that because money problems and money probably causes more marriage arguments than anything I can think of. But once you get on the same track and you're on the same boat together, it's really easy. And so, yeah. So, those are things that you just got married Saturday, so you're still on your honeymoon. So just go spend time together and enjoy each other. But those are things that, as long as you got God in your family and do stuff like that, you'll be good and successful at it. But always listen. Like Ed said, listen more, talk less. Sometimes that's easier said than done, but you'll do good. Congratulations, Jacob. Morning, day. RH, good morning. Yeah. So Robin on YouTube says that we should always negotiate and meet in the middle. That's always good. Speak kindly and positive. Yeah, sometimes we were probably harder on our spouses than anyone. It seems like, because just your spouse gets the good things from you, but they also experience your bad habits, sometimes your bad behavior. But all of those are things that you can work through. Be positive, be forgiving. People make mistakes. Understanding and know that even though they're your spouse, they're a different person, and you don't want to take away their who they are. You need to be who you are. They need to be who they are, and then you need to be together. So there you go. And there's no 100% way to do it. Speaking of her, whatever you do, don't try to be, there's some terms out there that you see used, and I would avoid those. You want to show respect at all times. And a lot of times, unfortunately, it's the ones we love the most that we just disrespect the most sometimes. So yeah, try not to do that. Just be kind, be respectful, all those things. Good morning, Jason. How's it going? I sell a lot of stuff, and I even buy more. So Rocky, I have a friend, and she's in the antique business, and my gosh, she is constantly what does she do? She buys and sells stuff, and she goes to estate sales and all kinds of stuff. Matter of fact, she was, where were they? They were in Hot Springs or something. I think they were in Hot Springs, Arkansas, and so they were on vacation, and she was still buying stuff while she was on vacation. So a lot of times their vacations, because they do deal in antiques, and they have an antique mall, is they'll go on a road trip and cover several states and vacation, and at the same time they're buying antiques, and they'll sometimes they buy more than they can haul back in their 40-foot trailer, or whatever. It may not be a 40-foot trailer. It's a pretty good size one. And they'll have to stop and rent a storage facility and fill it up. And then by the time they go back home with a trailer load, they unload, and then they have to turn around and go back and make another trip to pick up the rest of the stuff. So, and they've done that multiple times. But yeah, that constantly buying and selling, she's she's definitely got an eye for that. We literally. Mm-hmm. Did you buy Georgia? That's funny. Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people like to shop while they're on vacation. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, you just got to make sure you can carry back everything that you bought. That's great. Let's see here. What else did I have? So let me ask y'all this. I was reading an article about this. It's part of they call it predictive buying. You know how sometimes I saw a local post here where somebody was complaining about the cameras that of course they say Big Brother's watching you, and I always remind everybody that phone in your hand is probably can locate you anywhere just with that. And people are worried about these security cameras that cities put up, and you'll see them around big shopping malls and centers where it's got the license plate reader on it, and it's just public cameras where they record stuff. And I forgot what they called them. But anyway, somebody was complaining about it. Wow. Glenn, hang on a second. I'll answer that question. But anyway, they call it, the person was complaining about all the cameras. My initial thought was, hey, that phone in your hand is constantly, listening to what you say. And, if you don't think that your phone picks up and is listening to what you say, just start talking about an item you think you might want. And before you'll know it, you'll start seeing little things pop up on a Facebook page or your social media, or you'll start getting emails. Just yesterday, we have a gas range, and the oven went out on it yesterday or this weekend, and so we've got to go shopping later today to see if we can buy a replacement for it. And wow, have appliances gone up? A lot, probably double of what I think. I think the last one I bought, and nothing super high end, but nothing low end, kind of middle of the range. I think I paid around $400 or $500 for a gas range, and some of them now are like $1,200-$1,500, depending on. You can get them as low as probably $700-$800 plus tax, and then if you want them delivered and the old one picked up, add another $150 there, and so they've definitely gone up in price. But so today we get to go to Lowe's, or we'll probably go to both Lowe's and Home Depot and see what they have. See if we can get one picked out, because you need an oven. Unfortunately, we don't have but one, and the stovetop still works fine, but the oven went out, and it's about 10 years old. So it's definitely time to buy a new range. So yeah, we get to do that. But they're talking about this predictive buying. It's where AI, like currently when you talk about stuff, and it goes out and looks at your old search, Google searches and different things, purchases that you made, and then it'll make recommendations like that. But apparently the AI is changing it, and like I said, if you think your phone's not listening to you, you're wrong. It is. Can you imagine what your phone could say back to you that it hears, maybe that other people don't hear? Yeah, that's what Ed. That's what we have too. So initially we had GE. This last round, we have a Samsung microwave, and I like their ovens and refrigerators. So we have a Samsung refrigerator too. Now we've had both, but Samsung, I agree with you, Ed. Seems to make some pretty good appliances, and that's probably what we'll look at as another Samsung because my wife likes the one we have, and that's what it is. Yes. No, yeah, so my wife really likes cooking with natural gas. She said that I can remember when we were younger, we had a home with that was all electric, and there's some places that you can't get natural gas that all electric is all you have. But our house has both, so we have natural gas water heater, and we could have a natural gas dryer, but dryers have really improved, and so um, since we've lived here, we've had both. But gas dryers are usually a bit more expensive than electric dryers, and they've made the electric dryers much more efficient. So we have electric clothes dryer, but we do have a gas water heater, and we have gas cooking. Um, and so, yeah, that's what we've always had. Yeah, I had a LG refrigerator that was a nightmare. Flooded our house twice, and it was an expensive one. It had all the bells and whistles because that's what my wife thought she wanted, and she realized that a refrigerator is really meant to keep your food refrigerated, and all those extra bells and whistles, man, it's just things that can break. Of course, um, depending on how you like, a lot of people like having the ice and the water that comes through the door, but that was the item on our LG that broke and flooded the house twice while we were gone. And boy, talk about a mess. Um, and anyway, LG, after a year, I mean, we probably had their technicians out 5 or 6 times, and they kept telling the manufacturer that it was not repairable. And finally, around and around and around, they ended up um, giving us our money back, and they just abandoned the refrigerator. So we had to deal with that. But yeah, so we kind of got a bad taste in our mouth with the LG. Whirlpool makes good good products. GE is okay. They've kind of gone downhill some. Samsung we really like. Um, of course, the air conditioner in the shop is a Frigidaire. I've had pretty good luck with Frigidaire. I also have a Refrigerator um, icebox that's in an extra icebox that's in my garage, and I've had good luck with that too. So yeah, it's always fun trying to pick out what you really need and what's just extra stuff that could break. Also, was it all right? So hang on, guys. I got to back up here. Somebody asked a question, and you're right, though, Rocky. They're not necessarily blowing up. Let me. I didn't want to. Dang, we had a lot of. All right, here we go. Glenn 98 wanted to answer your question. It says, Dave, I need your advice. And everybody can chime in on this. I work at a gas station graveyard. It can be hell dealing with customers because a lot of them are drunk and rude. Have 2,000 saved up, thinking about quitting because. Let me see if I can expand that. He's thinking about quitting because of the customer base. Well, Glenn, my 2 cents worth on that is, in your lifetime, you're going to have jobs for me, because I've had a lot of different jobs over a lot of years. And, you know, some were full-time jobs and some were part-time jobs. But everybody has certain jobs that are just really hard to deal with. And so everybody has to make their own choice. You know, what I would probably look at is maybe see if you could find another job before you leave, because, you know, it's great that you have a couple $1,000s saved up, but depending on what your circumstances are, $2,000 doesn't go a very far away as far as taking care of yourself. 2,000 just won't last you very long in this economy. So that would be my advice to you is maybe look around, see if you can find something else and get something else lined out before you just quit. And you know, if you could, then, you know, you can save that 2,000, keep it in an emergency fund, and continue to build on that. That would be my advice, Glenn. I hope that you find something. Let us know. Keep us up to date. Any other thoughts that you have on that, let us know. And if anybody else wants to chime in on that and give me your opinion, I'll let Glenn know. It says, I'm tired of dealing with toxic customers. I can tell you that working in retail can be very difficult. Customer service can be difficult. You know, one of the things that because I was been in sales and customer service and that type of stuff, and there's always, just about any job, there's some customer service. Law enforcement, there's customer service, because you know, they're having to deal. Think about this. Think about if you're a police officer, you end up dealing with people a lot of times on their worst day, or when they're at their worst, or something really bad has happened to them. And imagine that you have to have customer service skills to be able to deal with people who are really, you know, something bad's happened, they're mad at somebody else, they're mad at the situation, or something as simple as they were speeding and you know, there's a traffic stop, and you've got to go up there and give them a ticket, and maybe they can't even afford to pay the ticket, and so you've got all of that. So you know, try to, it's easier said than done, but, you know, for me, it was always like, I always had to remember it's not personal. They're not personally attacking you most of the time. Sometimes it can feel like they're attacking you, but you just have to take that approach that you can only do what you can do. And some people are not going to be happy with it, and others are. But if you remain calm, it makes it makes the situation a lot better. But yeah, if you're unhappy and you're kind of at your wit's end with that type of job, I'd be looking for something else. Try to get something else lined up before you just jump ship, if you can. That would probably be the best thing to do. But and other than that, that would be my advice to you. Let me see if anybody else wants to chime in. Hear home exploding. Yeah, Robin. You know, you do hear homes exploding. If you have natural gas in your home, you know, we have O2 sensors, and you know, I get it. Most of the time, those explosions are caused by old gas pipes. You know, I don't know how long they're supposed to last. I've never had any issue. So it is something you definitely be careful of. But I mean, if you look at it, there's probably more homes burned due to electrical fires than there ever is to natural gas fires. Try to treat the customer the way there you go, Ed. Glenn, just so you know, Ed's he's absolutely right. So you want to try to treat the customer the way you want to be treated. You know, I always tell my wife too, because she's pretty hot-headed. I said, you know, you get a lot more with honey than you do vinegar. So if you're as calm, try to remain calm, and just, you know, be understanding. a lot of times people that you think are really upset, they just need somebody to listen to them. And so listen with your ears, and then just let them, be honest with them and be calm and let them know, hey, this is what I can do for you. I understand that you're upset. You know, hopefully, you know, just empathize with them as much as you can. And you know, you're always going to have a few that doesn't matter what you say or do, they're not going to be happy. And unfortunately, those are the ones that you just try to end the conversation as quick as possible and move on to the next customer and not let it just affect your whole day. It's really factory unless all your pilots go out in your house. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's why we have detectors throughout the house that hopefully that would never happen. And you're right, it could. Oh man, I'm sorry guys. I'm just slowly but surely reading through the abandoned, making 300 properties that blow up a year. Wow, insurance fraud. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know people that you could definitely do that, but they can always detect those things. You know what I'm talking about, Rocky. Just what Rocky was saying is that there's people who with natural gas homes will commit fraud by, you know, turning on the gas and blowing up the house, but it'd be kind of dumb. We're way more like, yeah, you're right. And John Riggs says, you know, he says that statistically you're much more likely to die in a car accident. And that's right. We get behind the wheel of a car, most of us daily. So there's a lot of things that we do. You know, I can remember as a kid things that, and I'm sure all of you did remember this. So think about this. When I was a kid, I could get up in the morning and at 7 a.m. on a Saturday, and I could go outside. At times, I could be as far as 4 or 5 miles away at my best friend's house. And of course, then you didn't have pagers or trackers or cell phones. It was one mom talking to another mom. Yes, he's over here, or no, they're out. And, there was times I can remember we'd be out away from home for hours on end, and our parents might know the general vicinity that we were at, but not exactly, because, we might have gone fishing or be at the pond or, just be out in the woods hunting, or, what we called hunting, squirrel hunting or something with a BB gun, or just all kinds of things, riding our bikes. And as long as you were home for me, I always had to check in at lunch. So I'd have to go someplace and call my mom, or and definitely be, if you were in the neighborhood, if it got dark outside, you had to be home by dark. If the porch light came on, that was an indication it was time to come home. And most people wouldn't let their kids, even in their current neighborhoods, you wouldn't just let your kids, go 4 or 5 blocks away playing with friends and not know exactly where they were. So things change, and so yeah, there's a lot of things that we do that can be really dangerous. Bacon, egg, and cheese croissant for breakfast with coffee. Boom, Casey. That's my kind of deal. My pal heard most accidents happen within a mile of your home. Yeah, so he moved. Oh, that's a good one, Ed. Ed says that his buddy heard that most accidents happen within a mile of a home, so he moved away. Oh, let's see. The TV blew up. The TV blew up. The side of the stove fell off. I can't explain that one. Microwave has chintzy plastic. Yeah. There's a lot of things that are modern in this day and time that you got to be careful of. I tell people all the time, turn your computers off at night. I can't tell you how many people leave their laptops powered on. They just close the lid. battery gets hot, and it causes a fire. So like I said, there's a lot of things that we deal with that can. One thing is do not fear. Yeah, that's true, Rocky. It does say that. Wow. Had a massive heart attack at 38. Yeah, I was telling you about the 70th birthday party. And Chester's, what was he? He wasn't Chester's brother. He was like a stepbrother to him, but they have a big family, and moms and dads had, married and divorced. But anyway, it's a big family, and he considered him his brother. At 41, died of a massive coronary on a deer lease, and he was in Mexico, and Chester was with them down there. They were actually deer hunting. Had his two young sons with him. His 10-year-old son, he had taken his son and put him in a deer stand and said, "I'm going to go back to the Jeep and get my rifle," and then he was going to go sit in a different stand. And the kid waited and waited and waited, and his dad never came back. So finally, after a couple of hours, his son got out of the deer stand, went back to the Jeep to find his father slumped over the steering wheel. He had a massive coronary and died at 41. 2 weeks later, his youngest sister also died from a heart attack. And apparently the family had a history of heart disease. I don't know, if you find out that you have a history of heart disease, is there something? I mean, I'm sure there are certain things that you can do to prolong your life, but I don't know exactly what they are. I'm not a doctor, but yeah. So his two sons, grew up to be successful young men. One of them's a country music singer here in Texas. And the other guy is he's just an entrepreneur. He owns like 30 different properties, a couple of ranches. He's been very successful in real estate. So yeah, we were all friends. But yeah, so that you never know when your time's coming. Could be today, tomorrow. You could live to be 100. So yeah. Only there ain't but one person knows when your time is, and it's not going to be you. The good Lord above us is the one who makes those decisions. But yeah, that's those are massive heart attacks. My father-in-law died like the same thing. He was 54. And then I'm thinking, when he died 54, well, he wasn't a young man. Well, I'm past 54 now, so he was a young man at 54, and he went out, started the lawnmower, started to mow the front lawn, and dropped dead in the front lawn. And the coroner said that he was dead before he ever hit the ground. His heart exploded. So, you just, like I said, you just don't know what's going to take you out. And it was funny too, because my parents are gone. My wife's parents have passed away. And we still have friends that are our age that their parents are still living. Some of their parents are in their 90s, and they were, while we were at the birthday party, of course, they're talking about taking care of their elderly parents. And, eventually we all become elderly. And someone has to kind of somewhat take care of us if we're still here on this earth. So, yeah, they talk about it. So, you miss your parents on one hand, and then on the other hand, you don't want your parents to suffer. So quality of life goes a long way there. But there ain't but one person that makes the decision when you come and go. And we all know who that is. Ain't that right, Ed? So, we hope that, and that's why I tell people there's two things that you need in retirement. The first thing is you need your health. Your health is, and quality of life is, I mean, who wants to live to be 100 if you're bedridden and you don't have a clue where you're at? I mean, come on. Uh, if you're healthy, like you see news stories of some of these World War II veterans living to be 100 and they're still able to get around and take care of themselves. They live by themselves. Um, I, One of the ladies that was talking about her mother, she's 98, still lives by herself and drives. I said, she still drives at 98. I think if you have the four with, I mean, I'm sure she doesn't drive cross country or anything, but she drives to church on Sundays and goes to the grocery store, and I'm sure they're close to her house. But just the fact that they get behind the wheel. So if you're out on the road and you see someone elderly, hey, pay attention, because their reactions, time is probably not as fast as yours is. But yeah, so we just never know when our time's going to be. But your health in retirement and quality of life, that goes a long way. I mean, when you're retired, you don't want to be sick. You don't want something bad health wise to happen to you. So, and a lot of times we don't think about that when we're young, and we do stupid stuff that's not good for your health. And then and those kind of things can shorten your life. So, and I agree, Rocky. I think everybody could probably benefit from doing 100 push-ups a day, but it's not, you have to do what you like. If you like to do push-ups, do push-ups. I personally prefer walking, and so I try to walk 2 to 5 miles a day. I don't always get that done. My wife's really much better at it than I am. I seem to plan to do it, and then other things come about, and a lot of times I don't get it done, but I do make an effort at it. And I mean, think about Ed. He went a whole year. I always come back to this because this to me, not just the walks and the fact that over a year, Ed lost, like, I don't know, 35 pounds or something by walking and exercise. And I'm sure, he may be adjusted his eating habits too, but just that exercise, just walking, and all of us can walk. It can really extend your life, and it's good for you. I got 2 bad knees, and the first thing the orthopedic said, he said, if you want to prolong this, really, probably the best thing you can do is walk. Get out there and walk, because it puts off the inevitable of having to have a knee replacement. And so I've learned to walk, come home, and put an ice pack on my knees for 30 minutes, and then yeah, and of course I take an anti-inflammatory, but that's okay too. And and get a little exercise, get a little sunshine, and that kind of stuff. I tried to do a live when I was walking, but I didn't have a lot of people join when I did that, and it was kind of hard for me to. One of the things that I like to do when when I'm walking is I like to listen to Reflection, Ed's podcast. It's always, I can put that my earbuds in, hit one of his podcasts, and I can just zone out and just literally I can tune the world out listening to a podcast. And if you like podcasts and you haven't gone and listened to the podcast Reflection, and I'll tell you this, if you decide to do that, listen to one of his podcasts, and he has different guests on for each podcast, and I'm telling you, you will enjoy them. That when you search for it, search Ed Blonsky Reflection, because there's some other stuff out there that says Reflection, and just to make sure that you're getting his podcast. Of course, once you found it the first time, then you won't have a problem. You can save it and go back and listen to him. He's got like six seasons working on it or done. I don't know if he's completed the sixth season or not. Anyway, he's doing those. So go check out his podcast. And, if you listen to all of his podcasts, then you can listen to other podcasts. Sometimes I listen to music. I like old country music, and so I'll listen to some Merle and other old artists that are not alive anymore that I like their music, and I can just zone out, and usually that's when I get the best exercise. So everybody likes to do something different. My wife, I always tell everybody, hey, if I come up missing, look behind the storage building back here for any fresh dirt, because I don't know if this is just something with all women or just the ones that I know, that they like to watch these 2020, Dateline, anything that's like a murder mystery. Likes to read those type of books, like How to Kill Your Husband in 30 Seconds, that kind of stuff. And I'm exaggerating, but those type of crime books and that stuff she likes to read. So I'm always telling her, if I ever come up missing, y'all look behind the storage building, because I'm probably back there with the past cats and dogs. But anyway, so she has a podcast that she listens to that's like real crime, different crime stories, and that's what she walks. And maybe that's why she walks 5 times faster than me. I don't know. What do y'all think? Out alive. There was a truck driver that wrecked out in Florida, and he didn't make. Oh, well, I hate to hear that. Out alive yesterday. Jordan, good morning on TikTok. Hey, man, how's it going? All right, so let me catch up with all these messages. It's crazy how you can drop dead all of a sudden, and some people are probably unaware of their heart problems. Yeah, you're right. And that's the thing is that, I've often thought about people talk about, like when you do pass, I don't think anybody wants to be have to suffer through a long-term illness, because it can be really bad, so, maybe, here today, gone tomorrow might be the way to go, versus having a long-time illness. I don't know. Unless you have a good insurance, USA healthcare is a disaster. Yeah, Glenn, I'm not sure that I don't 100% agree with you. Roster cure patients, yeah. Every 80-year-old to the doctor. Yeah, you're right about that. That's pretty funny. The Bomb Brian, hey man, gotta love that more, Ross. Thank you, brother. Hey, would you rather be rich and miserable or broke and happy? Is making money worth sacrificing your mental health and well-being? No, it is not. I would agree with you there. Would I rather be rich and miserable? I wouldn't want to be rich and miserable, because you're right, Glenn. If you're miserable, and if your job's really miserable, I would never tell anybody, hey, just you're miserable, so quit your job. We'll work it out. So here's a benefit to being married and having a partner, is you have somebody to lean on when there's nobody else. When you don't feel like you can lean on anyone else. If you are married and have a good wife, you can lean on each other. And, Donna and I've done that many a times, and probably through some of the toughest times in the last 48 years, you always lean on your spouse or partner. So, like this last go around, got laid off, let go in January, and I wasn't ready to retire, but didn't have a choice in the matter. And of course, you feel sorry for yourself. You're mad. You don't know what you're going to do. There's all kinds of things that your mind runs through. And luckily, thank goodness, I found Ed and Casey and Chris, and I went back to something I've been doing since 2019 with social media, and it gives me a purpose to get up in the morning and stay on that kind of routine, and so it's really helped. And then and not just those guys; those are just the guys that were initially supportive when I first started doing it. Now I've got I've got Rocky and Donna, and I can't even name how many people it is, because there's so many people that join this live, and get up at the crack of dawn, always engage, good conversation, and I feel like it's I continue to tell people all the time that we have the best group of early risers on TikTok and YouTube for a show. Somebody that I'd never met before at the birthday party was, I guess somebody said something. I'm not sure how but he asked about going live and wanted to know if we had sponsors. I said, well, no. I said, we don't have sponsors, but we have a lot of good people that join us. And of course, he was come to find out he was an entrepreneur and owned his own business. And I think it's good. And I'm not opposed to having a sponsor. I just don't think we've got to that stage yet. And then I thought back, well, we kind of have sponsors, because we have people like Super Clean, who will send products to me for showing and telling, and then also allow us to do giveaways where we can have a giveaway and give away product, and other vendors have done the same. So is that the same as having a sponsor? Not totally, but it's still it's a good thing. So doesn't really a lot years. I ran for a couple of years, can't run anymore. Whoa. Really changed this when I got the threshold. After I got to 100, I started doing Mike Tyson. Dude. Well, Rocky must be pretty bad. I tell you, anybody can do 100 push-ups like without stopping. They're in those. I agree. My dad knew a guy that was probably in his 80s, and he was retired military, and he got up every morning and did 100 push-ups. The guy probably lived to be 200. I don't know if he's still alive now or not, but it definitely helped him stay healthy. I'm not all stretched out. Okay. All right. I think it's always good to, if you can tie your workout and your exercise to, it's kind of like tuning the world out while you do that. At least for me, that seems to help the day go by. I want to tell you, you want to talk about somebody who walks. I don't know anybody that walks more than Jason with his dog. I mean, that guy walks probably 6 or 7 miles a day, and he's in good shape. And so I can't even begin to keep up with how much he walks. He's consistently, I'm talking about 7 days a week. Rarely, I don't think there's a day that goes by he doesn't walk some. Yeah. That's why we named our daughter Courtney, because it didn't want 3 Ds. So think about this, Rocky. Our last name's Dunnigan. So David and Donna Dunnigan, how about that? Didn't. Yeah, and I've only been laid off probably 3 times in my life, and none of them were good. I can tell you this, Glenn, that this last one was probably the toughest because when you're pushing 67, there's not a lot of people out there in the technology field that want to hire you, and they pretty much recruiters. As soon as they hear that, that's right off the bat. They tell you that there's a very low percentage that you'll be able to work in that field again. So for me, I'm doing this. This has not gotten where I can make enough money off of it to say I'm really making any money off of it. I think last year I made, $1,500, $100 a month or something. So you can't live on that. That's so that I do this a lot just because I enjoy doing it, not really for the money. Even though there are people who make a full-time career out of it and make a lot of money. But, if I was young, good looking, blonde, could play music, could sing, had a special talent, then I might could make it a full-time gig. But I don't have any of those attributes. So I have to just go off of what I do know. And so, I don't know. I don't know still right now if I'm going to go back to work or not. But I feel really fortunate because after you get after you get past the initial, I feel sorry for me, then you're mad, and you're mad at the world, and you're mad at everybody. And, my wife had to put up with me being mad for months. And then, we're trying to get used to both of us being at home and around each other all the time. So it's been it's been a transition, and I'm still not 100% by it yet. But I feel fortunate because I had a severance package that paid me till the end of this month. So, that right there, I mean, 4 months of pay, that's pretty good. Part of it was, 10 weeks of it was vacation time that I'd saved up that I got paid for. They did pay us for our bonus for last year. So I had that, and then, weekly pay or biweekly pay until the end of this month. So I was fortunate there. I'm very fortunate that I have a wife that has a pension. So I have something to fall back on. And that gets back to what I said, that when you're married, Jacob, if you're still on, listen to this, you will, in your worst times, need to lean on your spouse. And it's fun for the good times too, but, having a spouse and somebody to fall back on when times are bad, deaths in the family, bad things happen to good people all the time. To Bob Bryan. So like if you're married, make sure that your partner's somebody you can lean on when times get tough, and that will support you, because that takes you a real long way. That and lifelong friends. You don't get very many lifelong friends. So the ones you do have, make sure you cherish them and you treat them like a friend, and you're there for them as much as they're hopefully there for you too. Jordan, I'm in Texas. I'm in Central Texas. I still have a real 6-pack. Hey, that's pretty good, Rocky. Yeah, that too, bud. I thought, yeah, I don't eat much bread. I try to cut back on some of the carbs. The carbs are, for me, I walk past a cookie and gain 5 pounds. Slow spec. Yeah. So my doctor says any type of exercise you choose to do, even walking, will can contribute to extending your life and keeping you healthy. So, everybody has to do what they can do. I was funny. I haven't joined the ladies live in the last couple of weeks, but there's a lady on TikTok and she's on a weight loss. She's probably in her 50s. And I don't know if she's single or divorced or what, but she's on a weight loss journey of her own. And she gets up and what she found that's helped her stay on track and walk every day. She's walking on a treadmill at home, which is nothing wrong with that. And what's helping her is she goes live while she's doing that. How about that? And luckily, because she's on a treadmill, she has her camera or phone with it, whichever she's using to go live, and she talks to people and gets encouragement, and that's what gets her up every day. And she continues to lose weight, and she continues to improve her health and walk. And just think about that, going live and meeting rank strangers, people you never met before, and the encouragement that they can give people on those type of weight loss journeys and health, and just getting everybody's different perspective. I don't have a real job. Yeah, but so Rocky, you say you don't have a real job. I hear that a lot of times from people who are entrepreneurs and are either in the real estate business. When I say real estate, I don't mean you necessarily sell real estate. You may not be a real estate agent, but you own real estate and you own rental property and you're building your business off of that. So that is a business. And, to me, I always tell people, they're like, God, I want to be a business for myself. Well, I've been a business for myself. And I can tell you that it's not all peaches and cream like a lot of people want to think. It's like, I always describe being a business for yourself like you go to work 7 days a week. There's no paid holidays. There's no benefits. Really, people say, well, a lot of entrepreneurs make a lot of money. Yeah, they do, but they earn every penny of it because the moment you stop working, your income stops. In many cases. Now with real estate and rental property, you that's constantly going. I mean, the friends of mine that own Antique Mall, do they get up and go there every single day? No, they don't. They have somebody they've hired to run the store, the mall for them, but they're always involved. They're a phone call away. And so are they retired? Yeah, kinda. But, in that business, you constantly have to be on the lookout to buy more merchandise because you got to keep your stock levels up. And so, really, are they retired? Well, I don't see it as they're retired. Do they work as much as they did when they were younger? No. And granted, they shouldn't. But if they stopped or liquidated that business, it's like you're never really retired. You're tied to the business nonstop, and it's all based on you. And luckily, Rocky, you probably don't have regular employees that you deal with. But if you have employees, like when I was in business, I didn't have a lot of employees, but I had 6 or 7, and I felt that responsibility to make sure that those 6 or 7 people and their families could eat. And so that meant I was working 7 days a week, and a lot of them, they worked some long hours too. They put their time in too. So, I never hired anybody that I didn't feel like I could pay a living wage to. I refused to hire people and pay, $10, $12 an hour because I knew they couldn't feed their families on $10 or $12 an hour. So, I mean, that was just me because I had been in their shoes and I wasn't going to put somebody else there. So if I couldn't afford to pay them a living wage, then I just didn't hire them. But the ones that I could, and I did pay a living wage to, and I made sure they had health insurance, Might not have been the best health insurance, but they had health insurance. I made sure they had a simple IRA that the company would contribute a small amount to, and that they could contribute to, so that they were, had something to fall back on in their old age if we would have kept things going like we were. They had all of those things. Maybe not like if they were working for a huge company, but they had them. And so that's kind of how I operated my business. Like I said, it didn't pan out and it ended up being sold and liquidated, but that's in the past. But that's just how I did it. So like if you're an entrepreneur and you're working, you're earning every penny you own. So if you make $2 million a year, you're working your hiney off. I guarantee you that kind of money don't just fall in your lap. And owning rental properties come with a lot of headaches. Not always, but you could just as easily rent a property. Somebody could demolish the inside of it. They could stop paying you rent. You'd have to go to court to get them out. Then they've torn up your property. You got to pay to have all that stuff refixed, so that then you can rent to somebody else. Or you could be lucky and have somebody who rents your property for 20 years, pays on time, takes care of your property for you, and you end up with a property that's free and clear of a mortgage, and it's still rented and then becomes a positive cash flow. So I think everybody has to do. Rocky seems to have found what he does, and he does some other stuff too. Yeah, I think you do work. My dad worked at the same job from 84 to 22, and then you retire. Yeah, a lot. You don't see that a lot anymore. I wished it was different. Nowadays, you can't get people to work a job for 3 months. Yeah, there's some people out there that are like that. You're absolutely correct. But there's still a lot of good people that dedicate a lot of their life, their time. They put their family second. God, whatever you do, I don't care what job it is or who you work for. Everybody looks for good employees, but my experience with huge corporations, they want your dedication. They want to know that you're going to be there when they want you there, and that's a plus. But here's the reality. If you work for a very big corporation, you're a number. And if the numbers don't pan out your way, you'll be gone. And they won't ask, does your wife have a job? Are you going to be able to pay the rent for the next few months? Let us find you another job. All of that goes by the way of the buffalo. And they can tell you, they can promise you all kinds of stuff. And I can tell you, the moment they get you off the books, they don't know who you are. And you could have been there, 20 years. So things change when big corporations make those changes, and I understand they do it, and they have every right to do that. But, make sure you're taking care of yourself and doing the things. And, my wife a lot of times says that, I worry about things that I can't control. And she's kind of right. I do. I worry about the fact that I could lose my job. How am I going to feed my family? How am I going to pay the mortgage? How am I going to make that car payment? Why are you? So my advice to everybody is to live underneath your means. So, if you can afford to buy a brand new car every year, try maybe not buying a brand new car, but every 10 years. It depends on how much you drive, but that's just an example. Don't live beyond your means, live below your means, and make sure you have a good retirement set aside so that when you get to the point where maybe you can't work, or you're like me, I was 66 and the big organization decides to do a reorg or layoff. And I can tell you, I was told this by our HR department. I had an inside person there, and they were just really honest. And when that comes up, that's they have a program or an algorithm that first thing they do is pop up everybody in that age group and go, okay, we know these people are probably making more money than some of the others. And so let's look right there. Okay, well, this person's, we think they're going to retire at 70, if that's the number they come up with, or they're going to retire at 65 or whatever. And you're gone. You're on the hit list. And you could be the best employee they got, and you're still on the hit list. And more that happens to men and women that reach that, early 60s, mid 60s, late 60s. If their company decides to do a layoff, they're going to be on the list. You can bet on it, because they probably can't replace you with all your knowledge and experience. But if they're just looking body for body, they can put another body there and pay them less money, more than likely. He showed up at his last family gathering in a brand new Shelby GT 500, his own coveralls. All right. Absolute baller. I think it's great. I just take care of yourself. Make sure you can take care of your family, and don't be 100% dependent on any big corporation or really any company 100%. You got to be looking out for yourself. I wish that pensions were still out there. I'm very fortunate. My wife worked for a school district for 38 years and put in some real long hours and some hard years. And she wanted to quit numerous times, but she stuck it out. And she has a really good pension. And I'm thankful for it every day, because when I got laid off, I had something to fall back on. One, I got 4 months of severance package, partly because of me, partly because of the length at the company. I have a wife that has a good pension, so that income didn't go away. So there's some good things. I can draw unemployment, which is the next step. I'm close to being able to, at 66 and 10 months, I can draw full Social Security. So I can start to draw that. And so I have some options. Now, here's the other side of it. We had at least 2 guys whose wives were pregnant. One's wife had her baby at the end of December, right before he got let go on January the 2nd. The other one didn't. His wife was due, I think, in January after our end date. Luckily, we were able to maintain some health insurance there, so it covered them there. But I mean, how would you like to have a brand new family, a brand new baby, and no job, and be young, and only been at the company maybe a couple of years, because you're thinking, hey, I'm starting my career out right, and that gets you 2 weeks pay, maybe a month if you were lucky. So those were the guys that I was concerned about. Personally, because those were the guys that, the company don't think about that. They don't care if you have a baby on the way. They don't care. There's lots of things they don't even think about. And so those are the guys that I really felt for. And some of those guys still don't have jobs. And you cannot live off of your Social Security, and you can't live off of unemployment. We all know that. I was just reading an article about unemployment. Unemployment only pays you, they go back 5 years of your income, or at least they do in Texas. They average 5 years of your income, and you cannot draw more than 27% of whatever that average is. So your unemployment is going to be about 27% of what your last 5 years average was. And you can't live on that either. So yeah, my dad had a Union Coke. It's unionized. Yeah. Dodge Challenger with his pension, and has 100 and coming. That's good. That's good. My dad had a federal government pension, and I think his pension was $100K. So, that part of it was good. The bad part of it is for some reason, I don't know why, he made the decision, or he and his wife made the decision that when he passed, that his pension ended other than health insurance coverage. So my stepmother does have health insurance coverage through the government, but his pension ended when he died. And I really don't understand why you would make that decision, considering my father was 10 years older than she is, and men tend to not live as long. Oh, man, come on, get off of it, dude. Sorry, guys, there's always a more, I'm not going to say, there's always that person that thinks they're being cute. I'm guessing that's, let me see if I can get rid of this. I'm sorry. Report. I wonder if I can block them. Remove. Do I have to hit remove on every one? Boy, I tell you, people like this just really bother me. But you're right, Glenn. That's it. Hayden Sterling, hey man, what's going on? George is still over here. Ed, all of you. Oh, it's 7:47. I didn't even, man, I'm sorry. I got to talking on a roll. Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me this morning. It's been a great conversation. I didn't even know that it was going to, lead into all of this. Part of it, Rocky always jumps in and brings up good ideas to have conversations about. Glenn 98 jumped in and thanks, Glenn. I appreciate you. Hey, if you're still here with us and you haven't hit the follow or subscribe, like, share, all of that button, do that for us, because I just tell everybody straight up, I am an affiliate with YouTube and TikTok and others. And they all look at, your subscribers. For me, if I didn't get any more subscribers as of today, I'd be totally content, because we have people that join the show. If you want to call it a show, I guess. I always like to think I'm hanging out with friends and drinking coffee in the morning, getting the day started, talking about life experiences and what's going on. And so, if the subscribers stop tomorrow, I'd still do the live and we'd be just fine. But being an affiliate, a lot of people, they look at, how many followers, how many subscribers you have. Somebody was asking me about that this weekend too, when they asked about if I had a sponsor and, how important it was to have followers and this, that, and the other. And I was like, well, I know a lot of content creators that don't have massive amounts of followers, but do just fine. And that would be me. I'll be just fine whether you decide to hit the subscribe button or follow button or not. But if you do choose to do that, then thank you very much, because all of that kind of support's always appreciated. And some of the affiliates that we I guess do business with, they like to see those kind of numbers, because as an affiliate, you're promoting different products, and of course, being on the other end of it, they're looking at the more people you have as followers. Even though, just because you have 10,000 followers don't mean 10,000 people watch and interact with you every day, because hell, that'd be impossible. I wouldn't be able to keep up anyway. So it's always still that small group of people that are consistent, and that's the main thing. So I thank everybody who jumps in daily and and keeps the show going. Because I'll be honest with you, I run out of things. Sometimes I'll just rack my brain about like what we can discuss or what we are going to discuss, and sometimes I think I have it planned out what we're going to do, and it's absolutely, we don't do any of that. But let me do this real quick because I forgot to do this, just so I have something that I can tag to YouTube's video. Is I don't know what y'all think about tape measures. I use them all the time. I still think Milwaukee by far makes the best tape measure out there. They're not the cheapest, but they're super good. I like them because they got big numbers. They're on both sides, and they got this little finger stop, so you can hold it in place. So I like that. I also Stanley also makes a really nice tape measure, and they got one. This is not the Fat Max, but they make one that's called a Fat Max. And it is a good tape measure. However, I still like Milwaukee. I did have, I'm trying to think what I did with that one. It's in the house. I'll have to show it to you tomorrow. It's not an expensive tape measure. It actually, but it's a different style of tape measure. And I saw it on a YouTube channel, a guy I follow, a woodworker, and he was talking about it. What did he call it? Left, right. It's a left, right tape measure. Anyway, I'll show it to you tomorrow. So make sure you come back tomorrow and I can show you that. This is what kind of keeps me going here lately, is these vitamins from Smarty Pants, third-party tested, tastes great, good for you. And this is a kid's version. They make adult versions too, but this is where the samples they sent that have this immunity booster in it. They taste good. So yeah, I've been taking those too. And then the mood support is really good for you. It's got ashwagandha in it and L-theanine. So kind of helps with your focus, I guess. I think it's good for you too. So I take both of those along with some other stuff. And then last but not least, I showed these sunglasses last week, but I want to show them to you again. So this was an item that was sent to me from a vendor on TikTok. And I was kind of stunned by them because I'm not really, normally I don't wear sunglasses because of the type of regular glasses that I wear. And click. Yeah, exactly. Perfect, Glenn. But these sunglasses, I was really stunned by the quality of them. You get, so for under 20 bucks, you get 3 pairs of glasses, and I'll kind of show them to you. That's the blue. They call this one the red. And then of course your normal pair. These are polarized. Here's a couple of things I like about them. One, the legs on them are really, good quality. They kind of have that sports leg on them, so they don't curl behind your ears. So they're really comfortable. Here, I'll just show you real quick. They fit good. They're comfortable on your face, and I'll wear these. I've already had like 3 or 4 people say, "Hey man, can I have one of them pairs of sunglasses?" Because I a lot of times I just give stuff away that's sent to me that I use to create content with. I try to give it to people that I know needs it, that need it or will use it, and that it's not just going to sit on the shelf. Sometimes I use it as a giveaway, but not only with those 3 pairs of glasses do you get, and they've got other options. They've got probably 5 or 6 different scenarios with options on what color front you want on them. They even have, I think, a white framed pair and a gray frame pair. So if you like those, they have those. and they're unisex, so they're men or women, but they come with a cleaning cloth and also with this little eyeglass screwdriver set. So that all comes together, $20 on TikTok. I'll put a link down in the description for YouTube, and I'm working on. I know this sounds dumb, on being able to link products that are specifically on TikTok to the live event. That was on my goal to try to get that figured out today. You like my shirt? Go Horns! I'm a big Longhorns fan. Man, have you been watching the girls Longhorn team? Man, they're doing really good again this year. They just got through sweeping Kentucky. The men's team is pretty good baseball team this year, and that was the one thing. And I know Ed's probably already had to go, but because he's got a super busy schedule, dude. I really I am so impressed with all the things that he gets done in a day. I'm just stunned. I mean, he runs and leads a church. He has a podcast. They record and post services and all of that stuff. I mean, he is one of those people that's in demand. And so I'm always really grateful that he takes time out of his day to join us, even if it's only for 5 or 10 minutes. He's always there for the support. Anyway, so there you go, Ed. And let's see, was there anything else? I guess that's really all. Oh, let me do, I do promote this. I bought this though. I like this Contigo for my coffee. It keeps it hot. I like that it has the little, it won't spill, and you just push the button when you want to take a drink. Really good for keeping your coffee hot for 2 or 3 hours. So, all right, you're not an ass hat. Come on, man. Glenn, those are nice. Anyway, so that way I can show you all that stuff. I'm still working on being able to figure out how to link stuff to the lives on TikTok. Again, everybody, thank you for your support. I can't tell you how much it's appreciated. Like I said, like, share, follow, subscribe, hit that subscribe button. Come on, my YouTubers. I know y'all can do this. I think I just checked. TikTok followers have been killing it. It's like up 7,200 and going. But YouTube, you're not real far behind. You're at about 6,800 followers. So if you haven't joined, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's totally free. I won't send you any spam emails or any of that fun stuff. And we do fun stuff here. We have giveaways when I can. So, hey, you never know when the next giveaway is going to be, because I never know who's going to reach out to me as an affiliate. I have all kinds of companies running ideas by me. Some of them are not really very good, but a lot of them are good. And when I can and have the opportunity, I'm always, I like to do giveaways. It's my way to give back to people who join me. And so, hopefully here in the near future, we'll have some more stuff to give away. And until then, come back. I'm here weekdays, 6 a.m., Monday through Friday. So, and we do like we did today. We just talk about what comes up. Hopefully it's been a positive experience for you. Go out and do something kind today. Like Chris always says, go do something. What was it? No, treat people better than they deserve to be treated. Go do that. Hey, Glenn, if you're still having customer service issues, just smile. Be nice. Don't let them, don't take it personal. I know some customer service jobs are really tough. I hope that something works out. Let me know. Keep us abreast of what's going on. Tell us, share some of your customer service stories. Some of that stuff is really, really funny. I mean, when you go back at the time, it might not be, but if you go back, in the hotel industry, there's a training video that they talked about that says, the guy's calling in and he's asking for all of these different things. And and the agent's telling him, well, sir, you know, this is not available. And he said, but you don't know, I'm a diamond. And that's what the video is called, I'm a diamond. And it's the customer letting you know how important that they think they are. And so, yeah, it's fun. So thank you, everybody. It's 8:01. Man, I've been talking for 2 hours. I need to shut up. Y'all have a great, wonderful Monday. Hope your day turns out to be nice. It's going to be nice and hot here in Texas, and hopefully the sun's shining where you're at too. Have a great day. I'll be back here at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow morning and the rest of the week. All have a blessed day. Gotta go.